We're at the last week of spring ball. Tell us a little bit how things have gone for your unit, and we'll open it up for questions.
Today's practice 12. I think our guys have had a great mindset, just coming off of last season, flushing it, the goods and the bads, and eyes forward on the new year. So I've been pleased with their approach. I've been pleased with their work ethic as they've attacked this new season and this new team. And our guys defining their new roles, right? Nothing ever stays the same. I think things are always changing. So I think it's been a good spring that way of guys defining their roles in the team, starting to define what our team's going to be.
For special teams, what are some of the focuses that you have as a special teams coordinator in the spring?
Well, holistically, we want to find. So we break our team up into 4 different teams, and we have a competition, and they're all individualized: kickoff return, punt block. Different competitions per unit. So what we try to do is identify what guys on our team can help us into the season. So there's we call them combat drills, right? Competition drills. So we're able to identify some guys right now that we think can help us in the season based on how they're doing these drills. And then in terms of just the specialists, their main charge was we need more consistency. Max, when he hits a good ball, it's fantastic, one of the best in the country, but he doesn't do it all the time. Same thing, when we send our field goal unit out there, we can't wonder if we're going to score points or not. We need to score points every time they go out there. So that's been a main point of emphasis is every time we go out there and kick a ball, it's got to be the same muscle memory, the same. That's all got to continue improving from what we did last year. Last year, I think they all would tell you, and I'll tell you that it wasn't good enough.
Speaking of those, competitions and the drills of the 4 different units, how much does it help, from your seat, being the second time going through spring? You already know a good portion of the guys. Obviously, got a lot of new ones, but you kind of probably have an idea in your mind of who are some of the guys you're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, it's really important. We've been doing it a number of years. And again, we can full cover 15 punts in a practice, and I don't know that you get accomplished what you can do in these competition drills and find out what people are going to do in a competition setting. Are they going to hold? Are they going to do the techniques they're taught? Or are they going to go rogue and do their own thing? Right? So these competitions kind of allow us to see who can translate it from the drills to the competition. And again, there's a number of guys that were core special teams guys last year for us that did a fantastic job last spring in these drills, and it'll be the same moving forward this year. The cool thing, we had a couple guys here that played for us at South Carolina when I was a special teams coordinator there, and the first thing they asked when they signed is, do we still do the spring competition? So it does bring a level of excitement to something that I think can be boring. There's not a lot of people that said, I'm going to go to Liberty, I'm going to be the R5 on kickoff, right? They can play linebacker, running back, or safety, or receiver. But the competition element adds to it, certainly, to bring a level of excitement and enjoyment to it, which is the goal.
Some of those new faces, do you feel like you have more options in terms of the return game going in? What does that look like?
Yeah, we have more depth. Some of them been banged up throughout the spring, but I do think we'll have some good options moving forward. And the other part of it too is, again, just I think the level of our roster has improved top to bottom. So there's more depth in the other positions. So we talk about the guy catching the ball is really important, but the other 10 that are blocking for him is a big deal too. And to have more people that we can count on in those situations, I think will just raise the level of the whole unit.
Flipping to the other side of the ball, what have you seen from the new guys kicking?
There's just really just calling. He's done a good job, and again, everything's new to him. Higher level, new teammates, and then again with us, we start spring early, which is a positive, right? I love it, but there's not a whole lot of time to get your bearings. So I think the transition for him has been new. It's a lot, but he's done a good job, and what he's done, in my opinion, is he's raised the level of the competition between him and the other 2 kickers, and then they've battled it out. And we're going to battle it out through the spring and through fall camp and find out who gives us the best chance to win games.
How about for a guy like Nick? I mean, he's a guy that, kind of won the job during the season, early part of the season last year, and held that job. Have you seen a good response out of him mentally as far as, bringing in some additional competition this spring?
Yeah, he's been far better, and Braden too. Like they both have been responded well to it. They didn't pout, they didn't sulk. They just showed up, and I think all three of them have improved as spring has gone on, both mentally and physically. I think kicking is so individualized, right? And it's almost like a golf swing. Like your swing, your swing, your swing, your swing, and my swing are all different, right? But the bottom line is we got to get the ball where we want it to go, right? But the mindset, I think, is so much more important than the physical aspect of it, right? The confidence of there's no way this ball's not going in. And if I miss one, there's no way I'm missing two in a row. Like that's the kind of confidence that we're trying to build. And I think competition helps that. And I think it makes you grow and pushes you to be a little more mentally tough, to respond the right way. So.
You mentioned Max's inconsistency last year. How have you kind of seen him step up since the Fiesta Bowl and kind of work to improve his consistency?
Well, he's done a good job, and he did better as the season went along. We kind of changed some stuff with how we practice, but we took a camera and put it on the ground so it's very individualized. He can see his catch, his steps, his drop, his line, all the stuff that my mom all the time says, how hard is it to kick the ball? I go, well, it's really hard, and there's a lot that goes into it. You got 250-pound guys running at him at full speed. He's got to focus on dropping the ball the right spot. It's got to be tilted the right way. It's got to hit his foot the right way for it to go where he wants it to go. Like there's a lot that goes into it, but I think the ground cam has helped him see, all right, well, this was good, and I did this, this, and this, and then this one was bad, and I didn't do this, this, and this. And I think that kind of helps develop consistency in performance, if that makes sense. His mindset's been fantastic this spring. He's been really good.
Looking at the outside linebacker room that you also are over top of, obviously CJ's a guy there that returns, had a lot of playing time last year. What have you seen out of him as he looks to take that next step than some of the other guys battling behind him?
Well, the same thing with him as we talk about the kickers. The one thing he's got to improve on is his consistency and his performance. Like when he wants to go, he's great, and but it's not all the time, right? And I'm young, but I'm old school, and I believe that you will play the way you practice. So one of his big challenges has been he needs to practice with more effort, consistently. And I think he's done it this spring. He's done a great job answering the challenge and responding. And I anticipate him having a really big year. Bryson and Donovan are the two behind him competing for that second spot. And they both have done a good job of working hard and learning what to do and trying to practice the right way. We have a good room with good competition in there, and they all push each other. They care about one another. Our meeting room is good. They help each other out. And then on the field, they help each other out, but it's also competition, and they know it. So they worked really hard this spring, and I think all three of them have improved.
Nick and Max talked about how much they respect you. How much have you grown your relationship with these guys in your second year?
It's been good. I mean, the first year it's a whirlwind. You're trying to figure out, like, where's the locker room? Like, who are these people? I think as you get into your second year, there's a little bit level of comfort where you get to know, all right, what makes Max tick? What makes Nick tick? Right? Because everyone's different. We're all in the same building. We're in the same logo, chasing the same goals, right? But we're all individual human beings, and at the end of the day, this is a people business that we're in. It's not anything else. So getting to know how they respond when things go good and when things go bad helps me coach them better, if that makes sense. So I think the time together, the continuity will only help us improve. Yeah, and they've done, like I said, they've done a fantastic job this spring, and I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're Flames. I'm glad to be a Flame. So we're on the right track.